It is September 27th. Welcome on in to Daily Cards Live here on ClaimsOnline.com, presented by Mungenast, St. Louis Acura, and Royal Banks of Missouri. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey. Rammer, it was 2 weeks ago. I was in a car doing shows, and now you are in a car for today's program.
Yeah, just driving around.
we do want to let folks know you are parked right now while doing this, while doing Daily Cards Live. Rammer, 16 in a row. It's unbelievable. I mean, we've seen over the year, the Indians did it a few years ago. I know the A's went on like a 20-game run, in this past decade. But when you see it in person and you're watching every game and you see it happen, it's amazing that it's happening in Major League Baseball. Really just 3 weeks of just not losing.
Well, you kind of touched on it, and it's funny how throughout the season of our shows, you would say, okay, the Cardinals need to win 6 in a row here. And I'd go, Joe, baseball isn't played that way. That's not how it works, Joe. You can't count on 6 in a row or 4 in a row or sweeping a weekend series, even against bad teams. Joe, it doesn't work that way. Okay, whatever. It worked. This can't happen. It can't happen yet. Here it is.
It's happening. It's happening right in front of us, and here we go. 6 more games left in the regular season. Rammer, I said it yesterday. I tweeted this out yesterday. I feel like we're now watching like a 13-0 NFL team where you kind of go, I wonder if they should lose a game before they make the playoffs, because maybe that'll be good for them and they can just kind of reset everything. But man, it would be nice just to go into that game against the Dodgers at 22-0.
Yeah, the Dodgers 2 games out right now, and I think they're going to have a tough time catching the Giants unless something unusual happens, like winning 6 in a row, which is not possible, right? That's not how baseball works.
No, it doesn't. No. Teams don't go on long winning streaks like that.
No, they just don't, especially against other good teams. And, it's funny how nobody would talk about the Cardinals, and I think appropriately so. I think I saw you tweet earlier about you want to look back at other tweets about people commenting on how boring the Cardinals were. Your point was fun and well taken, but the Cardinals were boring. They were worse than boring. They were awful for a while. And but they're not now. Now, and you're hearing national talking heads and pundits talking about nobody in baseball wants to play the Cardinals. Nobody. And talking about better alternatives for a wild card game. It should be a series, because what a shame that if the Cardinals would beat either the Dodgers or the Giants and a 100-win team doesn't make it in. So they're already making excuses. The Cardinals, and appropriately so, and obviously because of the streak, have everybody in the country paying attention.
They absolutely do, and with that, Harrison Bader was named the National League Player of the Week for what he did last weekend, and really in Wrigley. That was kind of the big, that's what put him over the top with that award. But Claibs and I were just talking about it earlier on the lunch show, that you look at what has impressed me most about the weekend against the Cubs. You saw Dylan Carlson. He needed a day off. He was a little banged up. He needed a day off. Lars Nootbaar comes in, hits 2 home runs. And then, and I think you said on Friday, you said the Friday morning, you know what, Jose Rondon, he needs some at-bats. And Jose Rondon goes out there and hits a home run. And then we saw, unfortunately, Edmundo Sosa gets hit in the wrist and out the rest of the weekend. Paul DeJong comes out there and hits 2 home runs. So
of course,
you are seeing the bench now ready to go in this postseason, and it's contagious, and everybody wants to be a part of it. Heck, Andrew Kisner, he goes out there and scores the game-winning run yesterday in with what he did. So everybody is contributing, and that's exactly what needs to happen if you want to continue playing hot baseball the way the Cardinals have. And I think, there we go, Rammer, I think you're back with us now. And no, I don't think we have Bob Ramsey. I think we lost him for a bit, as we mentioned. He's doing the show from inside of his car today, and once he comes back, he'll start talking it up as we talk about the weekend that was in Chicago. Tomorrow on the show, I know that we will look ahead to what we have in this week here in town: 3 against the Brewers and 3 against the Cubs, as the Cardinals need just one win to clinch, or one Phillies loss, and they will clinch that second wild card spot. And Rammer, I think you're back now. As I hear you trying to talk, are you with us? As we did lose Bob Ramsey, when he rejoins, when he gets back with us, we'll bring him back in. So 1 win or 1 Phillies loss, and the Cardinals clinch that second wild card. The Brewers clinched the NL Central yesterday with their sweep of the Mets. So now they get a chance to kind of set their rotation to face either the Phillies or the Braves, whoever wins the NL East in the first round of the playoffs. And then the Cardinals will really, they've already kind of set it up, and they have set it up the past week and a half or so, where they have Adam Wainwright will be pitching for them in the wild card game against, well, right now, as we mentioned, it looks like against the Dodgers. So a lot of setting up the rotation over the next few weeks, a lot of figuring out who's going to be healthy for that game, who you want fresh for that game, which should be everybody, with the season ending on Sunday and that game being played on Wednesday. So as we'll see a lot of that this week. It's just a matter of how long you want this winning streak to continue, how much fun you're having playing in this atmosphere right now. So tomorrow on the show, we will have a full breakdown of the 3-game series against the Brewers. We'll see what they want to roll out as far as their pitching rotation goes, and we'll set the Cardinals rotation to that too. So as we welcome Bob Ramsey back into the show, hopefully a little better connection. But if not, Rammer, as I said, as I was saying while you were gone, tomorrow is really the day that we're going to set up this series against the Brewers and figure out what both teams want to do in that in this 3-game sets.
Well, I hear some people talking about teams wanting to rest guys and do all that, and I think you will want to allow teams to, like the Brewers, other teams that have clinched, to clear up some nagging injuries. But keep in mind, if I'm not mistaken, the National League playoffs, not counting that one game, don't start until Friday, with the season over on Sunday. So you're going to get those days off anyway. So I think teams are going to play it relatively straight the rest of the week.
Yeah, and when you have a team like the Brewers, though, and you look at some of the injuries that they've had, somebody like Christian Yelich, you look at the next meaningful game that they're going to play won't be until October 8th. There's, outside of maybe just getting some treatment stuff, why risk Christian Yelich in a game this week for that, outside of just seeing live pitching?
Well, I think that's the thing, trying to find a balance of health versus being rusty, and not play for 10, 12 days going into a playoff game. Yelich is the kind of guy that probably could do it if healthy, but I think that's the thing Yelich and Council have to figure out. Where is that balance point?
So that and then as we mentioned too, setting up rotations, making sure that everybody is going to be able to go on full rest, full bullpens, whatever they need to have.
You should be able to, for teams that don't have to play a game 163, or, and I'm talking about like the Dodgers and the Giants, or you take a look in the American League, who knows what that chaos is going to bring between the Yankees, Red Sox, Toronto, Seattle. That could be madness next Monday and Tuesday. But discounting that, the teams that have clinched, they'll have 4 or 5 days. Getting their rotations and their bullpen set will not be an issue for those teams. For the ones involved in chaos, yep, it'll be an issue.
Yeah, they are, as you mentioned, that if you want a scoreboard watch, really it just comes down to, for the fun of it, watching what the Giants and Dodgers do to see if there's going to be that game 163 next week, and the Dodgers are 2 back. But I love how the schedule sets up in the American League, because this week you have Yankees and Blue Jays in a 3-game series.
In Toronto.
Yeah, and then you have Seattle and Oakland, which Seattle's 2 games back now. 2 games back of that second wild card, and Oakland's 3 games back. So a sweep on either side for those teams will knock one out completely from this weekend and might put another one in a decent position for anything that could happen. We could see these final games, and I love what they're doing on Sunday. Again, I mean, what we're seeing on Sunday, every single game starting within about 10, 15 minutes of each other. So we hopefully can get one of the endings like we had in 2011.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I was trying to make a point about Harrison Bader when I lost connection there for a moment. What's funny is where for 4 months of the season, he really wasn't very good. But you look at July and September, look at the way he's playing, the position he plays, legs, power. You know who he is for July and September? He's Mike Trout.
You know what? If I were to have said that,
I would have killed you.
You would have given me so much shit if I would have tried to compare Harrison Bader to Mike Trout. And now you're going to come out here with that comparison?
I beat you to it.
156 games of doing this together, and I have finally rubbed off on you. Yeah.
But for folks who are going, what are you talking? I'm not saying he's Mike Trout, but I'm saying the way he played in July and the way he's playing in September, just look at the numbers. 1,000 plus OPS. It's what is it? Close to 600 slug. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it truly is. It's a 1 through 8 lineup that is a lot of fun to watch when they've been clicking the last 2 weeks. Rammer, like I said, we'll have a full preview of the series tomorrow on the show. But today, before we get out of here, a quick word from Royal Banks.
Royal Banks, really trying to help out the community one neighborhood at a time. They always do, with charitable contributions, with the events they run at Christmas time, the economic forecast breakfast, always finding ways to reach out to you, because ultimately, in the end, they want to help you achieve your financial goals. Talking about Royal Banks of Missouri, 314-212-1500, or of course online at royalbanksofmo.com. Royal Banks, where better service means better banking. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
No jerseys or hats today, but starting tomorrow, it's Cardinal Red till the end of the season. We'll dig into our closets and see what we can each pull out each and every day and have some fun with that. Yes.
One thing we didn't talk about, and I'm not trying to make you run overtime. One of the worst examples of group umpiring I've ever seen at any level. The four umps couldn't have messed that game up worse. Mike Schilt was absolutely right. And then, they tried to say how the Cubs didn't know where to go and were running and all that. And I don't know if you saw it. Schilt goes, it's not my fault they don't know the rules. It was insane. You either enforce the infield fly rule, at which point the third out's a tag out at second base, or you don't enforce it because you called it late. And if that's the case, you're out at third and second on the force outs, 3 outs. It really wouldn't have been hard to fix. And I just can't fathom why the umpires ended up with the solution they did. It made no sense at all.
Yeah, I saw. I did see that Derek Gould put out something. Bill Miller did speak with a pool reporter in Chicago today about that, and here was the if you want to go long form here with that, Bill Miller had this to say. It's pretty self-explanatory once you hear the facts. Runners at first and second, ball was hit. Arenado comes in. Third base umpire signals infield fly, which means the batter is out if it's a fair ball. The ball lands fair, but because Arenado slips, runners not realizing it was an infield fly because the ball was dropped, ran. A runner from second goes to third base. They throw the ball to third base and tag the base, but it's no longer a force out. Infield fly was called. The runners have to be tagged out. So the runner from third Then he goes, they throw the ball to second base, and this is where the confusing part comes in. Second base umpire Doug Eddings did not realize an infield fly was called, and so they throw the ball to second base. He called the guy out from first base. Ortega thinks he's out. Game is over. Walks off the base. Goldschmidt's yelling him to tag, but Doug is saying timeout, because he knows a runner left the base because he called him out. The argument on Schilt's part was he didn't understand that Doug had called him out on a force play. He thought Doug called time prematurely, so he couldn't be tagged out. That's umpires not realize. Also, Doug Eddings should have known that it was infield fly. Every umpire should have there's no excuse for the umpires not realizing that it was an infield fly.
It's the rule is the rule. I mean, the skipper is right. It's not the Cardinals' fault. Nobody, including the umpires, didn't know the rule. The umpire at third didn't signal infield fly until Arenado fell down. Well, that's not the way the rule is supposed to be called.
Yeah.
If it's a pop fly and it's on the infield, you call it. If fair. The fact that nobody called, first of all, yes, that's what happened, but that doesn't explain how they screwed up the rules. Yeah, we know that. That's kind of like what Mike Schilt does in his postseason his post-game commentaries. He just kind of recaps the game. He doesn't really give you any opinion. I don't know if you ever noticed that. The ump's just recapping what happened. Yes, we know what happened. Yeah. Why did the ump screw it up, and why didn't they fix it? That's the question.
It's a lot of words that could have easily been replaced by "we messed up."
Yeah.
Or use the words that Mike Schilt used yesterday when arguing with Doug Edding out there at second base. But I don't feel like putting an E next to this podcast, so I'll leave it at that and keep the language PG for now. Rammer, did you get in the Royal Banks read before we talked about that or not?
Yes, we're done.
Okay, we are done. We will talk to you tomorrow right here on Daily Cards Live, presented by Mungenast St. Louis Acura and Royal Banks of Missouri, right here on ClaibsOnline.com.
St. Louis Acura is excited to announce the opening of our newly remodeled service lounge. We sell pre-owned vehicles of all makes and models and take pride in servicing what we sell. We offer free pickup and delivery service and a complimentary car wash and vacuum with every service. We also have a full-service reconditioning shop on site that can repair dents, bumpers, and wheels. As the nation's only 29-time Acura Precision Team winner for customer satisfaction, we work every day to make St. Louis Acura better than ever for you.